How y'all doing? My name is Jacob. I'm from the tribe of Judah, Israelite from the tribe of Judah. And this is like pretty much my introduction video. Um, I want my YouTube channel to grow. I'm just starting. But I came into the truth. And what I mean by the truth is, I always been a person to go to church all my life, always over there to have with my donut and coffee as a little boy, and I always listen to the choir sing and then I leave, but ever since I knew about God, I always found him intriguing and hearing all the great stories about him and stuff, and his power and what he can do. It always intrigued me because, I grew up like in movies like X-Men and all kind of sci-fi that, deal with power and stuff like that. When I finally found out somebody actually existed that, you know, can do all these things, I just wanted to learn. So as the years went by, I started growing and, hearing people tell me certain things about God, going to church, trying to find myself. And then I started learning what sin is and everything. And by the time I was like 16, 17 years old, was the first time that I started feeling guilty for, sin and stuff like that, because I understood what it was and I knew that it meant to do wrong things. And when you do wrong, I knew this man upstairs would be looking at you, and read that you can run into some terrible things with him, out there living wrong. So all those years went past, whatever. I used to study things like following groups that was like inspirational, like Hidden Colors and motivational speakers like that, and real bad reverends and preachers that, brought a good word and stuff like that. And, and I watch and I learn, and, it used to send me to the books and remembering things, and, basically trying to figure out how to be a better person. And all along I've been looking for God, So about a little over 5 years ago, my mother had called me and she was like, son, you got to get over here. I got something that I want y'all to see. So, me and my sisters, we came over, and it was a story about this young guy, and he was on his computer and he seen heaven and hell on there and stuff. And he prayed and asked God, like, is this stuff real, and everything. And he said when he went to sleep, he went into this dream and he saw heaven and hell and all this kind of stuff like that. Now, give or take if his story was real or not, you know, um, his face expression and everything he was saying, it felt really real to me, but he had, gave me an understanding that I had always been thinking about anyway. And it was almost like when stuff like that happened to you, it's like God calling you, waking you up and stuff. So I was like, okay. So a month or so went by, and then my mother called me again, and she was like, Dustin, you need to come check these out. My government name is Dustin, but ever since I came into the truth, my biblical name, I named myself Jacob. You know what I mean? Which y'all can call me Jacob. I'm all right with that. But so yeah, I go over there, and she found all these brothers, and they was and one of the first groups I seen was Israel United in Christ. I mean, these brothers, it was like Black Panthers, the Million Man March, like merged into perfection. You know what I mean? Everybody was uniform. They was all in the same uniform. You know, they spoke loud and well. They wasn't sugarcoating nothing. And the way that they was quoting the scriptures, out of that Bible without even looking at it, just call it out like everything somebody would say. They'll be like, take me to this scripture right here. Take me to John, 1 John 38, flee from the devil. You resist the devil and he'll flee, and they just knew it and knew it. And I'm like, man, how did they learn the word like that? So I started watching and following, taking my notes and stuff. And now here it is. five years later, and I ain't gonna lie. When I first started out, I didn't just watch IUIC because it was a plethora of brothers doing their thing. I mean, then you had IUSPK that was out, and I believed in them brothers. I really did. But um, when a general came out with this dial of himself and stuff like that, I thought that was idol worshiping and stuff like that. So they kind of fell off with me. I know they had some strong brothers in there, but as a group, it just didn't work out with me with that. And but I got a few other favorites out there. Shabazz, he good. That brother is bad. He dressed bad. He good, man. Then my boy General Hazar. But then I got Alazar. He from Sakari, and he got a bad group too. I mean, young brothers, older brothers. People our age. Whatever. And man, these brothers are just bad. It's so many Israelites out there. So I know in the book of Jeremiah, they were saying that God's prophets arise from the graves and stuff like that. I'm paraphrasing, but you got to read it. Read the book of Jeremiah, and you will see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so when he said that, it's like you see all these prophets just like came out of nowhere. Like all the time I've been on YouTube, I had never seen nothing to this dynamic before, so I was all geek, like, yeah, somebody talking the way I need him to talk, because I had been to church. I had went up there and the pastor and put his hand all on my head, and and trying to force something out of me that wasn't there. I'm like, it never felt real to me, and sometimes I did used to feel bad and stuff because I never got anything out of church. The only thing I ever really liked it about church outside of the choir was the praise and worship part, because that's when they just play that music and everybody just silently worship God on their own. And that's the only time that I ever really felt anything about church. Come to find out, it was because you're reading the commandments, and it's like God said, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And when you do your research on the Sabbath and stuff like that, you come around to Saturday and realize that Sunday is the first day of the week. And God said he rested on the seventh day of the week. So it's like, you knew that was all wrong with church right there. And I'm like, well, if these ministers and they studied the Bible and went to school and stuff like that, how they didn't know that? You know what I mean? How they didn't know that, and then furthermore, why you teaching everybody else, coming in on the Sunday worship? Then doing my studying and going further, man, I started finding out, like, in slavery, the white man, he'll read the parts like God made the day, he made the sun, and he made the moon, he made the night, and he separated them, trying to just to make black people feel like they the dark side and they the light side, because everybody love the daylight, a pretty bright shining sun. Everybody loved that. So they was using those kind of tools like that to make it seem like they was more superior. And then the fact that our pastors never taught us that the Israelites have broke all the rules and commandments to God, and God punished them for it. They never went, because in the book of Deuteronomy, it's full of like, God started off and he started letting how you'll be blessed if you stick to the words, because he had sent Moses up there to bring us the law. And they made these calves, and Israel just went through a whole bunch of junky stuff in the beginning of that Bible, in Exodus mainly what I'm talking about, but after then, God started coming with all these laws and like telling you everything. And I'm like, now my Bishop Nathaniel, watching his classes, watching Deacon Nathan's, all of a lot of them, a lot of the classes, especially with IUIC, and when it comes to the streets, brothers like the group of Sakari, and all it's a few people that was very inspiring to me coming into this truth, and still is, but anyway, Bishop just start giving the word, like, how you be in church and you want to ask the pastor and raise your hand and ask the pastor something, And they'd be like, I question the pastor, that's the man of God and this, that, and then. And you'd be like, well, why not? How am I supposed to know? But then Bishop, his talent, when he read this Bible, y'all, he don't let no sentence go without explaining it. And then he don't chop off at the point. You know what I mean? Like the pastors will read scriptures like be an honest giver and stuff like that, and God will pour this out to you and stuff like that. But then they'll tell you, oh, God loves you so much, and stand up for God, and who's for God today, and all of this. And probably read about 2 or 3 scriptures, you know what I mean, that say God love you, but they don't be telling you the crucial parts. Like, for instance, if you tell somebody that you love them, like your girlfriend or your husband, your husband or your wife or whatever, that you love them, how do you make them believe you love them? You can't just say it and then you be around the house silent. Everything you do to yourself. Y'all don't do nothing together. Y'all don't kiss, hug, nothing. Y'all don't do nothing together. But you tell this person you love them. How you show them you love them? So it's like, when you say you love God, it's like, how you know you love somebody that you never shook hands with, you never seen before in your life? You know what I mean? So how do you know you love them? And you be waiting for the pastor to teach you stuff like that. So man, when I started following my bishop, man, he answered like all those questions that, I was just idle about. I didn't, I couldn't get no answers, because when you can read that Bible all you want, but if it ain't your time for God to open your eyes so you can understand it, it just seemed like it's a bunch of gibberish. Like, you can barely pronounce the words and the names. But when I made that choice, it's like my brain was like, click, and start going in reverse. And it's like, I start understanding stuff, and things just like start lighting up. So I was like addicted to the bishop classes, y'all, like watching 2 or 3, 4 classes a day. Sometimes it's all day, going to sleep and waking up and his class is still playing, and every time I hear something interesting, I'm always got my pen and I'm just writing. I'm talking about, y'all, I filled up half a book in like a couple of weeks, because it was like too much information. I'm running through my Bible trying to highlight stuff, you know what I mean? Write this down, and it just overloaded my brain, and I had to stop. I took like a week off, and I just started going over my notes and processing things, and start organizing how I'm going to read this and learn and understand it, and highlighting things in my Bible. And then I started learning how to precept it. And, and what precepts is, it's like the Bible, you'll come to know that it's almost like a constant reminder of the same thing. It just be like a different story, something that happened to somebody, another one of the prophets' life, what they experienced on their walk to do the same mission the prophet before them did. So you got people that saying the law is done away with and stuff like that. And it's like, to say the law is done away with is like to tell a person your ancestors don't matter. So you don't have to worry about where you came from, because they don't matter. That's what keeping the law is. In order to keep the law, you have to remember what started at the beginning. If you don't do that, then, you're not keeping the law. So, yeah. So I've just found out that everything that I was living, that feeling that I had, that it just wasn't right, like something didn't connect. Man, I got with these brothers, and all praises to the Most High. I'm glad I came across these brothers and stuff, because it was like a dream come true. It answered my questions, and now I'm on this path. When you on a path like this, you gotta be careful, because you learn real quick that sacrifice is a big thing, because instantly things just start. It's like the devil get real mad. He get real mad when he losing that grip on you. It's like people start acting funny at your job. Things that you had your hopes and stuff set on. It's like obstacles start getting in your way. Like little stupid stuff just start happening to you. you know, and I think it's all designed to kind of like piss you off so you can have them unnecessary stressors to make your day all unhappy. And, you know, and then nobody be wanting to hear this newfound news. You be all on fire and be thinking that, oh, wait till I tell such and such this. And they don't be wanting to hear it. And then that kind of make you mad. You know what I mean? It's like you got to really be humble and really sacrifice. So after like 3 years of being in the truth, man, no, actually like just a year. Actually like a year. Because I started in 2018 and 2019, that next summer, you know, soon as I started praying to God, it's like I got a lump sum of money back, like $10,000 back. So I was able to get me a car for me and my sons, you know. And, I got two sons, you know. I got a daughter, she away in college, you know, whatever. But I got a car, and the weirdest thing happened. One of my best friends that lived in this little town in Louisiana, little town population is small, like maybe about 3,500 people or less, somewhere around there, you know. But I have been down here and visited before, and it to me, I saw the potential in the town and how quiet it was, and everybody down, all the police officers are black, everybody that run the stores and stuff are black. It's like the black people kind of like run the town themselves. Of course, at the top of everything, you know, you got Esau, you know, your white man, you know, who's actually own everything. But for the most part, your own type of people is running everything in this town. You know, they the ones to do all the deliveries and, you know, just a number of things and stuff. And you feel real comfortable with that. So years later, after visiting down here with my guy that time, you know, it stayed on my mind. It stayed on my mind, you know, because one day back in like 2007, I had dreamed of living in a small town. And when I see movies like that about people living in a town and stuff like that, it was always a must-watch movie for me. I always just wanted to watch it because it you know, like I felt like that's where I wanted to be. You know, excuse me. It's my lemon water. Drink a little bit of this every day. Keep everything flush. You know, I got a lot of help tip too that I share with y'all later on in my upcoming videos. But yeah, so when I started to change, it was like I always been rather popular in my circle. You know, I ran track through grade school and high school. You know, I had dance groups and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I was always sort of like a leader, you know, and stuff, and had always had a lot of friends, you know, and always been a good person. So I got that goodness back in return. So I was pretty popular and stuff. But you know, the older you get, you know, you start picking up smoking weed and drinking and partying and all that stuff start coming into play, and that's when you start feeling some kind of way like. You need to change your life and get up out of there because you start seeing people dying and people going through hardship and stuff like that. And then you start having kids and stuff, and it'd be like, yeah, some gotta change, you know, some gotta change. So all of a sudden, like for me, being the best dresser and popular and all that kind of stuff just started looking a little different to me and stuff. And I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna be serving the Lord, I gotta get up out of here. Like I gotta get out of here. Like how do I get out? You know, I didn't know how to get out. So I'm like, how do I get out of here? And my guy that I came to visit this town with years ago, back in 2009. Now here it is, 2019. Him and his granddaughter had come. I was living in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and him and his granddaughter had come to Milwaukee to visit because he had moved back down to this town like 5 years prior to this all even happening. So they came to visit, and COVID had just hit, you know, some little time before that, and on his way back, they was only letting 5 people on the bus, and his granddaughter was number 6. And do you know they wasn't gonna let her on the bus, so he was forced to miss that trip, and the next bus didn't leave out to like almost the next day or something like that, you know. So he came on back to Milwaukee. You know, this happened over in Chicago. So he came back to Milwaukee, and, you know, he was telling everybody, like, man, I got to get home. We've been gone for 2 weeks. You know, I got to get my grandbaby back home and stuff. And something came over me and was like, take them home. So I called him. I said, hey, I'll take y'all. You know, he said, "Would you take us to Chicago to get to meet the bus?" I said, "No, I'm gonna drive y'all all the way there." And he was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna drive y'all all the way there." I said, "But I asked one thing though. Could I stay at your house until I find me a place down there?" He was like, "Oh yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Sure. You know, this been my best friend over 16 years. You know." He's like, "Yeah, sure." So I took me and my youngest son, and whatever could fit in my car, I took. We got on the road, and I moved and came down here. A few months later, you know, I prayed to God. You know, I said, "Lord, please, if you could just give me transportation out of here and give me a house with some nice land, you know what I mean, so I can live and it just be me there, and then I can get into you like I need to, without all the friends and the familiar stuff, you know." I praise your name, and I just wanted that so bad for myself. Man, do you know when I got down here? Of course, the devil's mad. I went through about 3 months so hell. You know, it was people, you know, in his family and stuff that was like causing problems for me staying there and stuff like that, because you know, that's the family's house, and they was having problems and stuff. But you know, it was tough, but I knew that was the devil, you know, because the bishop and reading the scriptures had already prompted me what was gonna happen as soon as God moved you, and trust me, it's true, it do happen. And so it was like, you know, so shortly after that, this woman came to me, and she was like, my cousin got a house over there, and it's right around the way from where I was staying. And she said, but you're gonna have to fix it up, you know. But on my way driving down here, something, you know, every time I thought about where I was gonna stay, you know how your voice, if you just hear your own voice telling you something, it just kept on saying, you're gonna have to work for it, you're gonna have to work for it. And I'm telling myself, I'm ready to work for it, you know what I mean? And when I got here, and she said that to me a couple of months later, I came and I saw the house. It was like a catastrophe. It was like the house hasn't been lived in for 5 years, and the bushes was just super tall. You know, you couldn't even see the house. You didn't even know. But I had a long driveway. Didn't even know it was a driveway because you couldn't see it, 'cause all the trees that had bent over, the bushes and stuff. But the way the Lord worked it out, it's like he had blessed me with 10 grand before I moved, right? And I had got me a car, and I was able to come down here after spending and situating everything. I was still able to come down here with at least $3,500 in my pocket to get myself started. Man, I met one person, and this one person introduced me to everybody in the town that can do something in this house. And I say, with about $300 that I spent, I got all the land cut down, and found out I had enough land to put like 2 or 3 houses on. You know, like plenty of land, running space, just plenty of it. You know, but with $300, I was able to find somebody to cut all that grass down, remove it, come into the house, clean the whole house out, because the house, you know, it looked like about 12 people was living here and just got up and left. And then, you know, I'm talking about, there was rat feces everywhere. You know, the kitchen floor was tore up. My living room ceiling needed a whole new ceiling. It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. But God kept blessing me, and it was like, it was just coming together and coming together. Now here it is, 4 years later. You know, I'm still here. I'm a lot stronger in the word. You know, I didn't get into a whole lot of the scriptures and stuff like that, but that's going to be coming. Like I said, this is my introduction video. I just wanted to tell y'all, you know, give y'all a little spiel of who I am, and kind of like what my history is about, and how I ended up coming into the truth and stuff. But my plane has landed, you know, and I'm learning and I'm growing, and I'll be uploading some videos on some topics and stuff like that. Then I also cook, so my channel ain't gonna just be about cooking, food is going to be about cooking thoughts too. You know what I mean? So it's going to be kind of like a mixture like that. So you'll get videos from me. I'll be showing you some of the cooking the things that I cook. And, you know, because I got imagination, I just come up with some really, really good dishes and stuff too, y'all. So stay tuned for that. And then I'll be, from the things that I learned from the Lord and the Bible and all the scriptures and my bishop and all other Israelites out there, you know, our praises to y'all again, you know, because they out there doing their thing, you know. In my town, you know, it's not, I know I've met a couple of Israelites here, and luckily I knew God sent me here because IUIC, Israel United in Christ, where Bishop Nathaniel, the home of Bishop Nathaniel and all the prophets that's with him, bad brothers, you know, I knew I was supposed to be here because I was in the store. You know, the Lord told us wear fringes in the bottom, you know, fringes in the bottom of my shirt. We'll get into that on later video. So I'm in the store and I'm, you know, the only one with fringes on, you know, whatever. And then I'm in the store and then I look down the aisle. Well, I'm just coming around the aisle and I see somebody with fringes go around the corner. My heart dropped because I have been here for like over a year, you know, and I'm like, man, all these country folks, they just all Sunday worshiping people, you know what I mean? I seen them fringes, man. I almost ran that brother down. He probably thought I was a fan or something, you know. But, you know, I just had to meet him, see who that was, you know. And come to find out, he was a brother. He was a brother. His name's Brother Tyrone. And he, come to find out, he was a member with IUIC for 10 years. But he moved out of town, you know, because, you know, his life story. I ain't going to get into that. But anyway, he ended up coming to where I was, and it was like I knew this is where I was supposed to be. So, you know, God give you signs and wonders all the time. And if don't nothing happen to you, ain't nothing happening for you. So, you know, you want stuff to happen. You look for that. But I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. That alarm y'all heard, that was time for my son to get up. I gotta get him ready for school. But stay tuned. I'll bring y'all some more videos. But to all my people out there, you know, my blacks, my Hispanics and Native American stuff, you know, the 12 tribes of Israel. I love y'all. Stay strong and always look for God. Till next time, Jaco out. Peace.